everybody. I believe this is the sixth class of the Bhagavad Gita study series. So first we will start off with acknowledgement for the person whose commentary we are using, which is based on Shankara's commentary, that is Swami Paramatmananda, who's like a absolutely splendid intellectual. We'll start with a small chant. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Salutations to the lineage starting with Lord Sadashiva, with Adi Shankara in the middle, and continuing up to our immediate teacher, which is Swami Paramatmananda. Okay, so with that, we will jump in. Okay, so last time we completed the portion on the most important portion on Atma Vidya. Okay, so if you see how the second chapter, which is considered the most important chapter, is structured, the first portion is on Arjuna's surrender, then Atma Vidya, then a few more verses on, they all lump it under Jnana Yoga, and then it'll go into Karma Yoga, and finally about this glorious rock star yogi called Sthita Prajna, one who has attained a steady mind. So Krishna just shoots this person into space, like a rock star fame. That's how he portrays it. Okay, so I want to tie all the things we studied in the last two classes with one more, I would say, modern day analogy. So Swami Paramatmananda, if you're attending his classes, you should be prepared for him poking fun of the audience. And he does it in a very subtle way. He'll change from English to Tamil when he's poking fun at the audience. So as times evolve, the analogies also keeps getting changed. So these days, a lot of people use the analogy of a light bulb to explain this Purusha Prakriti concepts. So electricity is all pervading in this wires, cables, right? Similarly, Atma is all pervading in space. So this is to show how consciousness enlivens the body. Electricity enlivens when there is a suitable object. It is there in the wires. You don't see its action. But when it activates a fan, a computer, or a light bulb, you see action. Similarly, Atma enlivens when there is a suitable body. So the body, or the consciousness is the electricity. The mind is like the filament. So it looks like the mind is active, but it is not the mind. The filament, it looks like all the action happening in the filament, but no, it is the electricity which enlivens it. Without the electricity, the filament would be dull. And the body is like the bulb. So Paramatmananda, this is where he would poke fun at the audience and say, reflecting the changing times, the analogy also, it reflects the body, which looks like a bulb these days, you would say. So even if the bulb or the filament is broken, electricity is still there. If you want proof, you can touch it. So it's still there. So that's what happens. It is always there. So I wanted to tie up all that we've learned using, this is a very important analogy, and all Vedanta teachers, they use this analogy. So we studied 5 properties of the Atma. So one of the things, the 13th chapter, Krishna says, you don't need to read Vedas, you don't need to do study all the scriptures, nothing matters. If you understand this concept of the Atma, that's all matters. No Sanskrit, nothing is needed. This distinction that You are the Atma, different from the body. That's all matters for liberation. That's the highest science. So the first property is aprameya. Look at the word, such a powerful word, something that cannot be comprehended. So whatever you can comprehend and understand falls into prakriti. This is the most important thing. The Atma, the consciousness, you cannot comprehend. It is aprameya. It is avinashi. Vinasha means destruction. It is avinashi, indestructible, which means if it's not destructible, it's eternal. It's been there like that. It is sarvagataha. It's present everywhere. We saw the ocean example, like water. It presents. It's everywhere. Then the waves come. So when there is a suitable object, it comes. Nirvikaraha. Vikara means change. Nirvikaram means changeless. It's just like that. And the last important property, it is akarta and abhokta. It is non-doer of actions, and because it does nothing, it does not reap the results of the actions. It is not affected. It is pure. Patanjali says, Shuddho api pratyaya anupashaya. It is just a sakshi. It sees the contents of the screen. Pratyaya anupashaya. It just follows. Poor thing. Whatever is happening in our screen, it just keeps seeing. And it is shuddha. It is pure. So these are the words that are used. Okay. Now, this is where we are. Arjuna surrender. So a quiz question. Can anybody say who are Arjuna's elder brothers in the Mahabharata? Anybody can answer? Sumitra?
Yudhishthira, Bhima,
Correct.
they are the elder brothers.
Those are the elder brothers. So why didn't Krishna, I have a quiz for you. Why didn't Krishna tell this to Yudhishthira? Yudhishthira is called Dharmaputra. He is the son. He was blessed by Yama to be born. Yama is the Dharma Raja. Yama is also the god of death, but he is the lord of Dharma, fairness, righteousness. So Yudhishthira is an embodiment of Dharma. Apparently, in the Mahabharata war, Yudhishthira's chariot, it was going 1 foot above the ground because he would never lie. He follows Dharma always. And when he didn't speak a lie, he just distorted something. And when that happened, his chariot came to the ground. So why didn't he tell this to Yudhishthira? Because he's the Dharmaputra. Why did he tell this to Krishna, tell this to Arjuna, all the Bhagavad Gita? Quiz, anybody? I've already hinted this in the first class. Take a guess. Anybody? Oh, yes, Sumitra.
Maybe because Arjuna needed it the most, Yudhishthira is already following the path of Dharma. So maybe confusion for him is not as much as Arjuna.
Okay. Yeah, the answer actually is in the first line. Arjuna simply surrendered. He asked for it. And Krishna, throughout the Bhagavad Gita, he says, Anasuya way, you don't cavil. For those who really want it, it is there. In the first chapter, Krishna was just silent. Arjuna was blabbering. Arjuna, there are 2 times in the Bhagavad Gita when Arjuna was eloquent. He says, I don't know which is good. Either they win or we win. It's just flowery words are coming. This is the first 10 shlokas that we saw. That is once. And then in the 11th shloka, in the 11th chapter, when he sees the Vishwarupa Darshana, it's just flowery words, Upanishads, all that he's learned during in his student times, all that is flowering. And also Arjuna is scared of one thing. So this time tears are coming in his eyes, but it's tears of compassion. It is karpanya dosho pahata svabhavaha pruchami tvam dharma sammoda cheta yachreyasyan nishchitam bruhi tanme shishyasteham shadi mam tvam prapannam. Accept me as the shishya and shadi, teach me all this. So he surrenders. So in the 11th chapter, Arjuna really cries. And why? He sees Krishna's teeth. Damshtra karalani bayanakani. Many canine teeth. And what does he see? All the Churnitai Uttamangai. So all these people, the great warriors, their heads are crushed in this teeth, apparently. He is so scared. He says, please show me your regular form. So he was he was losing direction. He didn't know where, north, south, everything was. He was feeling faint. All that happens. So those times Arjuna was very eloquent. Okay. So Arjuna simply surrendered. So Bhagavan started giving him the teaching. Then look at so it's important to understand the progression, how this is structured this way. So when Arjuna is just, his shoulders are drooping. So in the first chapter, he says, my shoulders are drooping. Sidanti mama gatrani mukham cha paritushyati. My shoulders are drooping. Mukham, my mouth is drying up. So in that case, is Krishna going to start from the basics, fundamentals, some fringe benefits, then slightly better benefits, all that? No, he's just going to zap him with the highest knowledge. That is why the Atma Vidya, Atma Jnanam is presented first. Krishna zaps him, hoping that he will understand, but Arjuna didn't quite understand. That's why he's now changing tracks. This is what you come see here. He's giving him some hypothetical argument. So, okay, fine, that's fine. You don't accept the Atma Vidya, but if this is true, you should still fight. Then he calls on the duty. So all this we will see in this chapter. Okay, so this is how it progresses. Now, Krishna, in the 26th to 30th, these are also some important verses because he's again reiterating the Atma. So he's using hypothetical arguments to make Arjuna do the duty. So let's say he doesn't understand the Atma, all that stuff. Then there are other philosophies. One is the Kshanika Vijnanavada philosophy. Atma appears and disappears. This is, some schools of Buddhism follow this. Then there is the ultimate philosophy, Charvaka philosophy. Eat, drink, and be merry. The life is a one-time event, so just enjoy it to the fullest. It was there even, this is how we are all living lives now, but this was there thousands of years ago, and it was all codified. There's an interesting story of Charvaka in Mahabharata. Okay, so I don't want to tell the story now. I will today. This class will be full of stories, so we'll reserve it for later. If I'm not able to tell today, please remind me next class. I will tell. It's a very interesting story. Okay, so please remind me. Okay, so now we don't want to get lost into stories, so we'll go into 26th shloka. अथ चैनं नित्यजातं नित्यं वा मन्यसे मृतं तथापि त्वं महाबाहो नैवं शोचितुमर्हसि. But if you think that this Atma is constantly born and constantly dying, Atma is dying, he said, let's say you assume this, even then, oh mighty armed, Mahabaho, the word Baham is arms, is mighty arms, a warrior, mighty armed, you should not worry. Natvam shochitum arhasi, you should not worry. Why? So, next shloka, he explains, Jatasya hi dhruvo mrityuhu dhruvam janma mritasya cha tasmadapariharyete natvam shochitumarhasi. Jatasya hi dhruvo mrityu. For one who is born, Jaha means the word is birth. Ajaha means unborn. So Ja means, that's why they have this last name Dvija, all that means twice born. So the Brahmins are twice born. One who is born, death is certain. Dhruvam, Dratatsahi Dhruvo, Mrityu. Mrityu is death. Dhruvam means certain. But death is certain to one who is born. And look, this is the twist. Dhruvam Janmam Ritasya cha. For one who has died, birth is certain, he says. Therefore, Tasmat Apariharye Arte. Arte is the fact, over this inevitable fact, you should not grieve. So what is the message? Surrender to a choiceless situation. So what happens? The waves, they come and shore crash and they just die. Then again, they appear somewhere and again comes. So it's like this, constantly going. So you have no choice over this. So just fight. Whatever happens will happen. In the long scheme of things, it's just a small blip. This is Krishna's big picture message. Okay. And he then says, Avyaktadini bhutani Vyaktamadhyani Bharata Avyaktanidanan eva Tatra ka paridevana. Okay. Avyaktam means unmanifest. Vyaktam means manifest. Avyaktam means unmanifest. In the ocean, there is water. When the ocean is quiet, you will only see water, no waves. In the beginning, there are some waves, and then waves are gone, and again waves come back. So, avyaktadini bhutani. In the beginning, the beings are unmanifest. Then they are manifest in the middle, and they become unmanifest again at the time of death, after death. So, tatra ka paridevana. Paridevana means, what is the grief for this inevitable fact? Okay, so that is Krishna's, he's trying to use different tactics now to make him fight. And the interpretation is given in the next slide. He's preparing him, he's trying to remove the ignorance of Arjuna over this inevitable fact, because Arjuna is seeing the trees, he's missing the forest. He's missing the big picture. So Krishna is presenting him the big picture. Ignorance, first chapter, Ashochan Anvashochastvam Prajnavadanscha Bhashase Gatasuna Gatasuncha Nanushochanti Pandita. The wise don't grieve over this. You speak words of wisdom, but you don't understand. That's what Krishna tells him. The wise don't grieve. So ignorance is considered the root cause of all problems in the yogic texts. First place, gold medal winner. So Patanjali, look, so in a scientific document, look at how he uses the word. Patanjali also, it's like little mischievous. He uses these words. Avidya kshetram uttaresham prasuptatanu uchinna udaranam. Generous, he uses the word. Avidya kshetram. Avidya, the place of avidya or ignorance is first place, top. Uttaresham, top place, gold medal. In the Olympics, they have this 3 stands. The first winner, avidya, ignorance. That's where it is. And how does it come? Prasupta, latent, tanu, feeble, vichina, intermittent, udaharanam. He uses the word generous. Look at this. In a scientific document, would you write generous? Patanjali is doing that. That is to show the effect. Avidya is the foremost of kleshas. So that's what he's trying to remove. Okay. Now, so we don't have Anjana here, I think. So her favorite meter. Now he's changing the meter. And Krishna's now going to, Krishna's mischievous by nature, right? He kind of pokes fun, all that. So this is what it's about. So when we are chanting, we'll give the opportunity for everybody to chant this. This is a very important shloka. It's a fun shloka also. Ascharyavat pashyati kaschidinam ascharyavat vadati tataiva chanyaha ascharyavat chainam anyat shrunoti shrutvapenam vedana chaiva kaschit. Okay, so one person sees this Purusha Prakriti, this Purusha illuminating the bodies. Body is dead, but when the life comes back, it just illuminates. One person sees this as the greatest wonder in the world. Ascharyavat vadati tataiva chanya. One person speaks, composes poems, all that, thousands of verses, all this about this great wonder of Purusha coming into Prakriti to enlive in it. Another person listens to all these upanyasams, thousands of hours. Ascharyavat chainam anya shrunoti, hearing. Shrutam is hearing. Shruti is that's heard, what is heard, revealed to the sages in their deep meditation. And shrutvapi enam veda nachaiva kaschit. After hearing, hardly anyone understands it at all. Look at Krishna, he's poking fun now. So what is there are other shlokas in the Bhagavad Gita which kind of touch upon a similar topic. So Krishna is saying this is a difficult topic. So he's telling this to Arjuna. You are not the only one lamenting about this human condition. Grief, he said, my grief is so strong, it is drying up my uchoshanam indriyanam. It's just drying up my senses. That's the word he's used. And he says, don't worry, everybody has the same problem because ignorance is common to all. So Arjuna's morale gets a little boost. And Krishna, he uses this thing again and again. He says, Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye yatatamapi kaschin mam veti tatvataha. So the of Manusha, thousands of men, hardly one person wants to strive for perfection, wants to know me in a sense, which is the Brahman. And of this few people who are doing, who have this desire, only one person understands. So it's very rare, it's very difficult. And he says, yes, Sumitra.
Sorry, I just interrupted. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
So this Atma is different from Ishwara, is it? Because
okay,
both
very good.
almost seem very similar, right? The seems very similar.
Yeah. Okay, this is the first 6 chapters, the focus is on Atma. The next 6 chapters, the focus is on Ishwara. And the third 6 chapters, it is on the relation between Atma and Ishwara and Nirguna Brahman. So these are all very important concepts which we'll study later. Ishwara is defined as Purusha plus Prakriti. Ishvara encompasses the whole thing. Okay, Brahman is consciousness. It is pure consciousness. From pure, this is how they define creation. And all the scientists, they love it because it explains things in a very scientific way. First, there was only consciousness. Then matter came from that. And matter is in the 9th chapter, or in the 7th chapter, Krishna says, it's all the different the 8 types of air, all that. And mind also is subtle matter. Mind is considered subtle matter because, how do you know? Because consciousness is not affected by anything. But mind, when you take antidepressants or coffee, it's affected. It's affected. Only matter can affect matter. Consciousness, nothing, matter can't affect. So light, when it is there in a room, you throw things at it. Is it going to change? No. Light is just light consciousness. Okay. Sumit, you're frozen. Did you hear what I said? Okay. So maybe you may want to turn the video off so your bandwidth is good. Others, were you able to hear? Can somebody
Yes, it's
confirm?
clear.
Just making sure.
Clear.
Okay, all right.
Clear.
Yeah, so
Actually,
it's just
my video is
Sumitra.
not working. So
What's not working?
video is not working.
My video is not working?
My video is not working. Your voice
Okay,
is
that's
clear.
fine.
We can
Okay,
hear.
good. All right, thank you. Okay. Then Krishna, he also says, Avajananti mam mudaha manushim tanum ashritam param bhavam ajanantaha mama bhuta maheshwaram. So even in the Mahabharata, these people, they try to capture Krishna when he goes as to broker peace. Duryodhana tries to capture him. He says, Avajananti mam muda, these idiots, they don't know, because I had taken a form of a human being, they think I'm just an ordinary person. Param bhavam ajanantaha, my supreme form, they don't know, because they are Mama Bhuta Maheshwaram, my greatness, they don't understand because they are stupid. That's what he says. Okay. So this is the thing about Atma. So he says, don't worry. Now, the reason we're going to go into a story now. Okay. This greatest wonder, we talked about it, right? It is very beautifully quoted in the Mahabharata. So I in the first class, if you remember, I told about 5 gems in the Mahabharata. No problem, Sumitra. Yeah, if you may want to keep your video off if to improve the audio quality. So we talked about 5 gems. First is Yaksha Prashna, then Viduraniti, Sanat Sujatiyam, Bhagavad Gita, finally Vishnu Sahasranam. These are the 5 gems. The first one is Yaksha Prashna. The story is that these Pandavas, they're in the forest, 5 brothers and their mother Kunti. They escape this villain Duryodhana and they go into the forest. In the forest, it's a dense forest. They've become very thirsty. So they asked the youngest brother, Sahadeva, to climb a tree to see if he can spot the water. So he climbs a tall tree and he sees in the distant something that looks like a pond. Then he says, yes, there is one. Let me go and fetch some water. And he takes a pot or vessel and he goes there. Then when he's about to, he takes some water, he wants to quench some thirst. So he's about to drink some water. Then he hears a voice, don't drink the water in my pond. You're intruding. He doesn't know who is, just looks around, he couldn't see anything. Then in the corner, there's a crane, Baka. So if you know the mythology and symbolism behind Bakasana, this is where it's coming from. So Baka is a crane. So the crane says, don't drink water. And he says, who are you to tell me not to drink water, you silly bird? Then the crane says, the crane says, if you drink the water, you're going to die. And Sahadeva doesn't care. He's so thirsty, he drinks, he falls down dead. Similarly, one brother after the other, Arjuna comes. Arjuna, the greatest warrior, he says, you silly bird, how dare you talk to me like this? He drinks the water, falls down dead. Bhima, the mighty, is like a Hulk. He comes, he also falls down dead. Finally, Yudhishthira comes. Then the bird says, don't drink the water. Yudhishthira, being a very calm, he's a dharma, righteousness, he understands, okay, I didn't mean to steal water from this, but we're all thirsty. And why are my brothers dead here? I don't understand what's happening. Then the bird says, I am actually a yaksha. Yaksha means a spirit. So there are the spirits governing certain things, a tree spirit, like this is a pond or lake spirit. I am a yaksha, and this is my pond. You cannot drink water unless you answer my riddles. So it asks 44 riddles, and in one of them, it asks about the greatest wonder. The yaksha asks, Kimascharyam, what is that which is the most wonderful or most surprising? It's a wonder. Ashcharyam. So we saw the same word. Ashcharyavat pashyati kaschitenam. Ashcharyavat vadati tataiva chanyaha. Ashcharyavat chainam shrunoti. So Yudhishthira says, Ahanyahani bhutani gachanti te yamalayam sheshasthavaramicchanti kimaschartyam mataparam. So he says, Ahanyahani bhutani, day after day, all these beings, they go where? To Yamalayam, the abode of Yama, the god of death, to die. Shesha Stavaram Ichami. Shesha, those that are remain behind, they think that they will be here permanently. Shesha Stavaram Ichanti. Stavaram means just staying in one place. Trees are called Stavara beings because they just stay in one place. So the rest think they will be here permanently. They act as though they are going to be here permanently. People worry about their appearance, spend so much on their appearance, everything, but it's impermanent. And they think it's going to be like that forever. What can be more wonderful, surprising than this? Kimascharyam ataparam. What can be more surprising than this? What can be greater than this? This is the greatest surprise in the world. So this is it's kind of quoted along with this shloka. Okay. Then finally, so this is the conclusion of the final portion of the Atma Vidya. These four shlokas are kind of little meandered. Then Krishna comes back. He says, Dehi nityam avadyoyam dehe sarvasya bharata tasmad sarvani bhutani natvam shochitum arhasi. The Dehi, we saw Dehem means body. Dehi is but that which lives inside the body. This is called embodied, present in every body, is forever indestructible. Dehi nityam avadyo I am. It is indestructible. Dehe sarvasya bharata, which is present. Same. Every body, this day is a Dehi. Tasmat, therefore, you should not grieve for the sake of any being. It is indestructible. So if you kill the body, the being is still there. But I mean, this should not be used as a license to kill, because a lot of other dharmic activities were done before the war. Krishna tries to stop, goes multiple times to broker peace, and they ask for one home with 5 rooms. Even that Duryodhana was not willing to give. So that's why the war started. There was a good reason. Okay, so this completes Atma. So we've been seeing Atma, Atma, Atma. Any questions here before we move on to Krishna is now going to change the tune slightly. He is going to call on Arjuna's valor. He is the greatest hero. He's going to kind of poke him a little bit to bring that up, because he's now crying, all that stuff. He's going to rise up, do your duty. Okay, so any questions here? So did you understand the progression? So yes, Sumitra.
Is Atma still in the realm of the Prakriti? You said Atma is consciousness. So is it
Yes.
you are mentioning that Purusha includes the Prakriti also in it.
No.
Not,
I said
I mean,
Ishvara.
Ishvara, yes.
Yeah.
Ishvara includes the Prakriti in it. So,
Yes.
Atma, is it in the realm of the Prakriti?
No. No. It is pure consciousness. This Swamiji, he uses this word PPP. It is not part, product, or property of the Prakriti. The Prakriti is the body or the other objects in the world. Anything that you can experience, feel, it is Prakriti. Electricity, can you see electricity? No, that is like consciousness. Is it clear?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Now he's going to remind him of Swadharma. This word is used several times in the Bhagavad Gita. It's a very, 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 very relevant and important topic. So Krishna, now he says, Swadharmamapi chaveksha navikampitum arhasi dharmyadi yudyat shreyonyat kshatriyasya na vidyate. Again, looking at your own duty, swadharmam apicha aveksha, looking at your own duty, you should not waver. For there is nothing better for a Kshatriya than a righteous war. He says it's like a dying in a righteous war, doing your duty, is open gates to heaven. That's what he's going to say next. That's how great it is for a warrior. Now, the Swadharma. So I've told you it's such an important thing. I'm giving you a sneak preview to what will happen in the 3rd and also in the 18th chapter. So Krishna uses very strong language to say you have to do what's your duty. It's not duty means it's not or you're being paid to do some work. So that's also duty. But Swadharma is your what your nature kind of propels you to do. Some people are born with musical talent, some with mathematical talent. So it's determined by your gunas, the composition. That is Swadharma. So it is one's duty born out of one's true nature found by the gunas. Okay, so that is Swadharma. So Krishna says, Shreyans Swadharmo Vigunaha Paradharmat Swanushtitat Swadharme Nidanam Shreyaha Paradharma Bhayavaha. It is better to do one's bounden duty, even if it's tainted with defects, than to do the prescribed duty of another, even if you do it well. Death while discharging one's Swadharme Nidanam Shreyaha, death while discharging one's bounden duty is far better than somebody else's duty, because an unknown path is fraught with danger. So, Paradharma Bhayavaha, full of fear and danger. So, stick with your true nature, what your true nature tells you to do. Okay. Now, finding this, what your true nature and what kind of profession, what kind of lifestyle you're suited for, that is $1 million question, as I sent in the WhatsApp message. Then in the 18th chapter also, Krishna reminds, Sahajam karma kaunteya sadoshamapi natyajet sarvarambahi doshena dhumena O son of Kunti, one should not abandon the duty born of one's true nature, even if it has defects. For all endeavors are veiled by imperfection, as fire is covered in smoke. Okay, so we'll see if we have time. We can have a mini discussion, or we can do it next week. Okay. Now comes or how are we doing on the time? So okay. This is a very important story. It comes in the Anushasanika Parva of the Mahabharata. Okay, this is again about Swadharma. Now we are seeing Arjuna crying. He wants to run away from the battlefield. He wants to go to an ashram and just sit and meditate, all that stuff. He doesn't want to fight. That's his state. Now, the same state happens to his elder brother at the end of the war. And how it happens? So he's okay, he's killed, he's feeling a little guilty, he's killed all his cousins, they have killed all the cousins. But the final straw to break the camel's back, that happens when his mother Kunti tells him, Yudhishthira, you have to do a jalatarpana for a close relative, brother actually. And he just looks behind. All my 4 brothers are here. Why? What do you mean by saying I have to do a jalatarpana? He first is a little scared. Did somebody die in the last 5 minutes? Everybody is there. So he's confused. Mother, what are you telling? Then she tells, you had an elder brother who is now dead. And who's that? Who's that? Who's that? She's saying. It is Karna. Karna was the arch enemy of Arjuna. So Arjuna kills him. There's a long story how Karna gets killed. We don't want to get into that now. But this is what happened. So, and Yudhishthira gets so sad. He gets so mad with his mother. Why didn't you tell me this before? And he's so mad, he gives a curse on his mother. And he tells, because of you, what you've done, you've held a secret, you've not told me this. From now, women cannot hold secrets. So this is the curse he gives Kunti. He was so mad. This person who is the most noble person, he is so grief-stricken. And he says, I don't want to rule the kingdom. I want to go into a forest and spend my last days there, and I want to attain wherever, heaven or wherever. And he's just refusing to take up the reins as a king. And this is when Bhishma tells him a lot of stories. Everybody convinces him. And the Anushasanika Parva is, Anushasana means taking back the reins of the kingdom, back to governance of the kingdom. Shasana means rule. Anushasana means going back to the rule. So following the rule. So Anushasana in the Yoga Sutra starts with this. Ata Yoga Anushasanam. Follow. Anu also means follow. So following the rules or the discipline of yoga. So here, there's one very famous story that Bhishma says. Bhishma says, this is not your dharma. Sitting in the forest is not your dharma. You are just, you simply cannot do. It is not in your nature to do. And he first quotes an example from Ramayana. So Rama and Lakshmana, they go to the ashram. And then Lakshmana really likes this ashram. He says, brother, we should just stay in this ashram for quite some time. It's so nice here. And then the Rishi there, he says, no, Lakshmana, there are a lot of wild animals, dangerous wild animals around. You should not stay here. You should go to a more safe place. Lakshmana laughs. He says, you're telling us, look at me, I have a bow. And before entering the ashram, Rama tells Lakshmana, his brother, remove the bowstring. So as warrior, they're all Kshatriyas, warriors. They're ready to fight, bows strung. Remove the bowstring. Rama knows when you're entering the ashram, you're supposed to, your violence, everything has to be dissipated. So, and Lakshmana laughs. What are you telling me? We are great warriors. We can just kill everything. Then Rama interrupts him. Lakshmana, don't speak silly and rash words like this. Try to understand what the Rishi is saying. They have tapobalam. Because of all their tapas, they say, ahimsa pratishtayam tatsannitau vairatyaga. When they do all this tapas of ahimsa, practice non-violence, in their presence, even these beings, violent beings, lose their violence. So all these tigers and all these things, they don't come and harm these rishis, because with their tapobalam, their power of the tapas, they can stop them. But Kshatriyas, what would they do? They will take their arrow and kill. And what will happen? They'll be full of blood all around. So Kshatriyas, it's not suited for them to be living there. And that's what Bhishma is telling Yudhishthira. You have to follow your dharma. You can't just say you'll go to the forest and you'll sit and do this. You're not suited. Yudhishthira was saying, forest so beautiful, dewdrops, you can see the night sky, all that, everything. And he says, yes, but there are also tigers. And if there's a tiger, what will you do? You'd first shoot an arrow at this, and you'll be full of, you'll just destroy all the animals. It is not in your nature to be going and sitting there. And Bhishma tells the story. There was once a jackal. This was a very unique jackal. It was a vegetarian jackal. Every day it would sit in meditation. It would chant prayers and do all that. The rest of the jackals in the forest, they did not like this at all. They told this jackal, you are a disgrace to our entire community. We will, let's agree on something. You don't need to go hunt meat. If you're old, I understand it's difficult for you to catch prey. You're eating fruits and roots. It's not what you're supposed to eat. We will get you meat and give it to you. You don't need to do anything. Just eat that. Jackal says, no, I am a vegetarian jackal. I will stay like this. They're all banging their heads. What a disgrace this animal is to our entire jackalhood. And then one day, a tiger, the king of the forest, heard about this jackal, and immediately a thought occurred. Now, jackals by nature are very cunning, and the tiger had some jackals as ministers before, but they cheated the tiger because this cunning and this vicious nature. They're very smart, but they also have this cunning nature. They can rob. So, but this seems to be an ideal jackal because it's very pure, virtuous. But it also, jackals by nature, they're very shrewd, so it would know what to do. So this would be the perfect minister for me. So the tiger goes to the jackal and says, please be my minister. The jackal says, no, that's not my dharma. I'm not suited for this. I don't eat meat. I just meditate. I just sit before the fire and meditate. I don't do all that. Then the tiger pleads, begs, and says, please, please, please do. Then finally the jackal agrees. But look, I'm not going to come to your uh, your the place where you hold your meetings and all that. And there's one thing I'm warning about. You're going to be very disappointed, because I see through the minds and workings of all people because of my meditation powers. And I'll give you very disappointing news. I will tell you who all have cheated or who are all cheating you. And you are going to be very disappointed. Only if you are prepared, I can do this. And I'm not going to come to your sabha, they say, where they hold all the meetings. You have to come to me on a new moon night when nobody sees, and I will tell you all about the governance of the kingdom. That's all I will do. So the tiger agreed to that. And so soon the tiger was surprised, or the jackal told everything, and the tiger was surprised. Everything was accurate. And the rest of the animals, the other jackals and everything, they are surprised. How is the tiger finding about all the dirty things that I did, all the swindling, everything? And the tiger is punishing all these people, these animals that are um, lied and done bad things. And they were kind of surprised. And finally, they figure out it is this vegetarian jackal that's causing all that. So let's put an end to this jackal. How are we going to do this? We'll take the tiger's meat, whatever the tiger is going to have for breakfast, and we will keep it near the jackal and tell the tiger that the jackal stole its meat. And they do that. The tiger is so mad. Who dares to steal my meat? I'm going to put an end to that person. And it finds out, then all the animals say, the vegetarian jackal is not vegetarian. It stole the meat. Go look, look. So the tiger goes and he finds this. Immediately the tiger, its impulsive nature, it says death sentence to that jackal. And so this jackal is just looking, oh my God, what's happening? Then the tiger's mother comes to this, and the tiger's mother tells other stories. And you see, in Mahabharata, there's a story within a story. So this already, this story is told by Vaishampayana, right? This is a story. And from now, Bhishma is telling this story. And within the story, the tiger's mother is telling another story. It talks about even sannyasis, people who have renounced, they get jealous of other sannyasis. Because by a sannyasi is somebody who's a renunciant, a monk. They have no property. Even they have jealousy. So, have you seen this jackal steal your meat? The tiger says no. Then the mother says, then you have to do your due diligence before trying to kill that, because jealousy is common. Even if you have no possessions, you are the most simple thing, there can be jealousy. And if the tiger does its inquiry and found it's all the other things which are plotted, and it goes to the jackal, pleads for forgiveness. I'm so sorry I've done such a thing. Please come be my minister again. Then jackal says, no, I've already, by swerving away from my dharma, I'm already made a mistake, and I've done a second mistake by being your minister. I don't want to have any of this. I wish you good luck. Bye. So this tells about the problems of going away from your nature-bound duty. Okay? So that's the story. Any questions here? So, okay, it's 8, so 24. I'll do one last shloka, and then probably we'll stop and chant. Or one more shloka. Edrichaya chopapannam swargatvaramapavritam sukhina kshatriya partha labante yuddhamidrisham. Oh, Partha. Partha means son of Pritha, which is Kunti, which refers to Arjuna. Fortunate are the Kshatriyas who get such a war by chance. Yadrichaya, by chance, accent. It's not like they're looking for that war. It comes to them. It's an open gateway to heaven. Swargatvaram, apavritam. That's the word he uses. Okay. Then he says, Ata chetvamimam dharmyam samgramam na karishyasi tatat swadharmam kirtim cha hitva papam avapsyasi. If you do not engage in this righteous dharmic war, then forfeiting your own duty and honor, you will incur sin. And then he says, Akirtim chapi bhutani katayishyanti te vyayam sambhavitasya cha kirtihi maranad adirichyate. And beings, the people, will endlessly speak stories of your dishonor, because they'll think you ran away from the battlefield. For one who has attained honor, dishonor is worse than death. Okay, so we will stop with the 34th verse. Any questions? Shall we do our chanting? So we will go to starting with 20. Yeah, Sumitra.
This is a question on Swadharma.
Yeah.
So intrinsic nature means what comes to you naturally.
Formed by the gunas. So gunas, the gunas can be different things. Sattva, rajas, and tamas. It can also be vata, pitta, kapha. These are all gunas. They are formed at the time of conception. They can be changed, but everybody has a certain inclination. Some of them have an inclination for music, right? It's there since childhood. And so you have to follow a path which lines with that. That's what he says. And like a warrior has an innate instinctive nature to fight. They're very good at weapons, all that. A scholar, on the other hand, is very bookworm. A warrior can't sit for so long too. Is that clear?
Yeah, but does this have anything to do with Varnashrama? Because
So in fourth, we will talk about that in detail. So all the how they were classified by Krishna, very clear. Guna karma vibhagashaha chatur varnamaya srishtam guna karma vibhagashaha. Based on the gunas, distinction is made based on the gunas. Okay.
yes,
On
thank
this
you.
question, sorry, on this question, Ganesh ji, so to find our Swadharma, we follow our gut feeling, or
Yeah, that's a big topic for discussion. Maybe we'll do it next